fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm pretty excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a first impression on some new shadows from Lethal Cosmetics. So they recently came out with the Landfall and Skyward collection, which looks like this. This is the Skyward, this is Landfall, and I thought that they were beautiful, so I ended up making a custom palette through their really easy custom palette maker on their website. You can go through, you can choose all the colors, it works on the iPhone, and you can put them where you want them to go, and it's very interactive and easy to visualize the custom palette that you're making, because I feel like sometimes when you do singles and you're just like, oh, I'll do this or this, and you just don't know what to expect. But with the Lethal Cosmetics site, it's so easy to know exactly what you're getting. I just love how their website is. I think it is brilliant, and I think that it would be amazing if more brands did that kind of thing. So I went ahead and purchased the entire Skyward collection because I think it is also beautiful. You guys know I love blues and greens. And then from the Landfall collection, I got the more colorful shades. So I got Crossroads, I got Descent, I got Terminus, and then I didn't get these three neutrals. So I filled those in with 3 shades that were from their previous, it might have been like some type of Vivid collection or something. I thought was really beautiful for summer or spring, and I didn't place an order just because it was only a few shades that I wanted, so it ended up working out. So I'll just stop blabbering and show you my little custom palette. Here's what the outside looks like. It's a magnetic palette, and actually their custom palettes normally come with the black packaging, which is what my old one that I bought a few months ago has. I'll show you that color scheme really quickly in case you're curious. I do have a first impression and a review up on my channel using this. So it normally comes with this, and I actually messaged them on Instagram and I said, is there any way that for the custom palette that I ordered that I could get the white one instead, just because I already have the black and it'll make it easier for me to personally organize them? And they responded super quickly and obviously said yes. So I think that was really nice. I think the packaging on this is beautiful because it looks plain white, but when the light hits it differently, you can see the little pattern throughout it, and I think it looks very stunning. So I figure that it just makes it a little easier, so when I'm like, oh, I want my Lethal palette, I know I don't have to open it and look in to see which one is which. So I appreciated that they helped me out with that. Alright, I'll just go ahead and show you. I think it's really beautiful. It's very spring summery, even though fall is now upon us basically. So here is the little palette that I made. Actually, you probably saw it in the thumbnail, but I didn't mean for it to go together. I kind of just chose colors that I wanted, and then I think it actually does look really beautiful. So there's kind of a mixture of some bluey purpley tones, some really stunning greens, and then some pinks and reds. These shades right here look very similar, but there is just a tiny bit of difference in the depth, so I'm curious to see how those will look on the eye, but I think it's beautiful. And oh my gosh, that's so cute. The inside for this, right here, says objects in this mirror are braver than they appear. Why is that so nice and encouraging? The other palette says conform only to your own standards. So I think that's very cute. And I actually cannot wait to pull these shadows out and rearrange all of them, because I obviously am attracted to pinks, purples, blues, and greens right now. So anyway, for today's video, I figured I would go ahead and show you guys each shade that I got, go through them and swatch them, and then we'll do a little demo. I have pretty high hopes because I know so far from all the other shades I've tried from Lethal that I really like their formula, so I'm hoping that all of these new shades are the same way. I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing like a really pretty green look just because that'll match my shirt and I've got somewhere to go afterwards and I don't want to have to change. So I'm going to do a green look, I think. But I actually went ahead and when I was putting them in, I wrote all the names out on a napkin, so that'll make it easier so I don't have to pull them back in and out as I'm going through and doing the swatches. Although this time my order did come with a little Lethal Cosmetics depotter, which looks like this. I don't know if this is something they always throw in for custom palettes now, but I think that's super helpful just because of the shape of their pans being squares. They can kind of get really close together and it's hard to get them out without scraping your finger in the eyeshadow, so I appreciate that. I actually already have some depotters because I have ones from Z palette, but I'm happy to have another one, and I think it's a great little addition. Definitely very necessary with these type of shadows if you want to pull them out and put them back in and move them around, because you know it's not as easy as with circles. All right, so the first shade we have here is Celestial, which looks to be kind of a white green inner corner type duochrome metallic. It just looks stunning. It feels super creamy and soft. Oh gosh. So there is Celestial. I was so excited about this just because I have two other inner corner type shades from Lethal, and I think they're all really beautiful. I've got to sneeze. So that is really pretty. It's very icy, but it has just the tiniest little hint of mintiness, so I think it'll be beautiful. Next we have the shade Altitude right here, which looks to be kind of a mixture between a blue and a purple, and it just looks like a really stunning matte shade. I love these kind of tones, and I thought it would just be really nice. Feels very creamy. It feels a little bit more sheer. I feel like I kind of had to not dig my finger in, but I did kind of have to swirl a few times for it to show up more on my finger, like more opaque. It just looked a little bit sheer to begin with, but that's really pretty. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. It looks opaque on camera, but just swatching it, I feel like I can kind of see my skin underneath. So I'm wondering if that's going to be more buildable or if it's just a little bit more of a sheer shade. But I do really like that kind of tone. Next we have the shade Descent, which is this beautiful metallic purple here. I thought this was really stunning. It just, oh gosh, I love a good purple. So there's what it looks like. Very metallic and creamy. Oh yeah. I think that'll be really pretty with the other purple shades I have from Lethal as well. It almost has just a tiny little bit of blue running through it. Right, next this like matte cobalt blue is called Surge, and honestly it kind of reminds me of the Urban Decay electric palette. I used to be obsessed with the cobalt blue in here, or in there. I used to be obsessed with the cobalt blue that was in there, but this, I'm swatching it, and again I feel like I kind of have to swirl my finger in a few times for the swatch to look opaque on my finger, but it does look to be a really beautiful tone. It's actually, it's cobalt blue, but it's a little bit muted. Like, it's not the brightest blue I've ever seen in my life, but that could definitely be a good thing. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more to that. I think that's a really pretty quad right there. That could be a pretty look. All right, next this matte green right here is called Void, and it looks like such a beautiful light green. I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like there's like a word for this kind of green, and it like starts with an S, and it's not spearmint. Oh gosh, I can't even remember what it would be called. So it looks really beautiful, and it has like some pretty vibrancy to it. All right, next is a metallic, and this is the shade Mirage. And it looks to be kind of a minty, lighter teal type of color. I feel like I definitely have shades like that. Like, it reminds me of something from the blush Tripacina too. But I do really love shades in this tone. Also kind of reminds me of one of the shadows in the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette that I was like obsessing over that I haven't bought. All right, next is the shade Yonder, and it just looks to be like a pretty true teal. And for some reason, the fact that it's named Yonder just makes me laugh so much. It's kind of a fun word to say. So there is Yonder. Again, just like a little bit more sheer when you swatch it, but I think it's gonna be buildable on the eyes. And then next we have a really nice deep dark matte green, and this is called Eden. Ooh, okay, that one's super pigmented and creamy. Yeah, that looks really nice. I'm excited about that being in their line because whenever I would do green looks with my little row here in my other custom palette, I felt like I couldn't get the green deep enough to where I wanted it to be. So I'm excited to incorporate Eden with the other greens especially. And it's kind of that perfect tone. I really love very deep colorful shades that have depth but still remain true to the color that they are. Love it. All right, next I am so excited about this matte. This is the shade Crossroads, and it looks to be kind of this beautiful pastel, pinky, purpley, just goodness. So there is Crossroads. So beautiful. All right, next we have the shade Enigma, which I know was from their other collection from a few months ago because I absolutely love this shade. It looks so beautiful. It's kind of, I don't even know, it's like a hot pink with like a purpley blue shift going through it. I just am obsessed with pink duochromes right now apparently, so I was all about this one. Yeah, do you see that shift? I see that shift. Oh gosh. Yep. All about that kind of color. All right, next is the shade Terminus, which looks to be kind of just a brighter red, and then next to that is Cascade, which seems to be just a touch deeper of a red. I think I'll just go ahead and swatch those two together. I'm very curious. I'm really hoping that on the eye you'll be able to see the difference because they look very, very similar in the pan and when they're next to each other. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, these are both so beautiful. Yeah, you can definitely see the difference. Look at Terminus. Okay. Okay, I'm excited about that. Yeah. I'll explain myself in a moment. Okay, so there's Terminus and there is Cascade. So I feel like I can definitely see the difference. I hope you guys will be able to. Terminus is definitely a lot lighter and it's like the super pinky tone, and Cascade is just a deeper red. I think they both look so beautiful. The reason I just got so excited looking at that shade right there, Terminus, is because I've been working on doing a week of Anna review with the Anastasia Jackie Aina palette, so I feel like this is going to be such a spoiler, but overall I feel like this is definitely not necessary in my collection, and if I didn't own it anymore I wouldn't really be that sad. There's only one shade in here that I'm like super obsessed with, and that is the shade Pinker, this color right here, and that actually reminds me so much of Terminus, which here, let me just go ahead and swatch them next to each other. They might not be perfect, but they look like similar tones. Okay, here. Actually, you know what? That even looks closer to Cascade. Huh. Okay, so that shade in the Jackie Aina palette is my favorite shade, and it's the one I feel is the only one in the palette that's very unique. So I think that Cascade, I mean, I feel like you can see a difference in pigmentation, but I find this to be a little bit more buildable. So let me go ahead. I'm going to grab a little bit more of Cascade. All right, here's Cascade, just building it up a little bit. I feel like those look pretty similar. So I'm excited. I feel like it's not perfect, but I found a pretty good dupe. So when I do my review, I can say, you know, this is the shade I find most unique. Here is a dupe for it in case anyone is curious or trying to talk themselves out of the palette. All right, so before we jump into the eyes, I did want to say I obviously already have mascara on my lashes, and that's because I had to run some errands this morning, so I did a like partial face and I just didn't do any eyeshadow, and then it was like, why wash everything off just to do it all over again? So I figure I'm just gonna go ahead and do my eyes anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and just, you know, prime and ignore the mascara, and I'll probably end up adding a little bit more afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Anastasia eye primer today just because I've been using this consistently and overall I'm liking it. We're just gonna take a little dot and just blend it in with my finger. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the lighter green right here called Void, and I'm gonna put that right into my crease as my transition shade. I really, really love this tone of green. It's kind of like a baby green, like a pastel green, honestly. It's gonna drive me crazy till I remember the word that I'm looking for. Word for baby pastel green. I think what I'm looking for might be seafoam. Seafoam green. I feel like Lethal Cosmetics mattes do not swatch as intense as Menagerie Cosmetics mattes, but I feel like on the eyes and the way that they blend and just the texture in general, they look very similar. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little bit of Yonder, and I'm gonna put that right into my crease just a little bit lower down. So pretty. I'm gonna keep it nice and tucked right into my crease. I'm not gonna try and bring it too high with this brush. I'll go back in with my previous brush in a moment to blend. Although honestly, it's almost already completely blended and I barely did anything. All right, just grabbing my little fluffy brush and going over the edges real quick. Now I'm gonna get up into Eden, and I'm gonna put that right on my outer V. Just lightly blend. I barely went in with any. Figure it's better to add a little and then add more if needed rather than go in with too much. Okay, I'm gonna grab just a little bit more. This reminds me of one of my favorite shades in the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette. That really deep green in there is so good. Alright, for my lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and start off with Altitude for the inner part, and then I'm going to use Surge on the outer part, and then just kind of blend them together. So just going to pop this right here. Going in with a really tiny brush just to keep it very precise. Yeah, honestly, this just looks like a really pretty baby blue. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and throw on Surge. Just starting off in the middle to blend them together. I didn't even bother wiping off my brush or anything. Actually, you know what? Just to kind of bring the upper eye and the lower eye together, I'm going to go ahead and grab a touch of Eden, the deep green, and just pop that on like the outer third of my lower lash line just to add a little bit more depth. Alright, now for my lid, I'm going to go ahead and grab the shade Mirage, and I'm just going to start that off on inner corner, or sorry, the inner corner of my lid, and then blend it all the way in. Such a beautiful color. I just realized that I did add Void in the crease, which was from a previous collection, but everything else that's in this look is all the Skyfall collection, so kind of showing you how well they work together. Last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and grab Celestial, and I'm going to pop that onto my inner corner. I really like that it's so icy, but it's just the most subtle little hint of green. I think it's pretty unique. So I feel, I mean, you could obviously take a really green shimmer and a really white shimmer and mix them together to probably get the same effect. But I feel like I have a lot of inner corner shades that are like on both like ends of the spectrum, and not really this like very subtle in between white and green. So I think it's pretty. I did get a little bit of fallout, but it's wiping off pretty easily. So to finish off this look, I'm going to go ahead and use the Too Faced Benton Sex Mascara and also the NYX liner in the shade Olive Green. Alright, so to finish up, I'm going to go ahead and grab a touch of the Anastasia Amresia highlighter. I do have a little bit of highlighter on, which is the Natasha Nona Super Glow highlight in the shade Fair, which I put on this morning like several hours ago, and I just added a tiny little bit to my no makeup kind of look. So I feel like with all of that's happening on my face now, I could definitely go for a little bit more highlighter. So that's what I'm going to do. And then for lips, I'm going to use the e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Pink Kiss. Alright, so this is my finished look with the new Lethal Shadows, the custom palette that I built, and I'm so excited about it. I think that there's so many beautiful, unique tones, which is probably why I ended up purchasing it, just because I was a little back and forth, like, do I really need more singles? And the answer is no. But so many of these shades I do find to be super unique, and that's what I'm drawn to. I love how they ended up blending on the eye. The shimmer looks really, really beautiful. I think it'd be even more intense if I went in with my finger, but I think kind of the softer look is what I'm after today. And then Celestial on the inner corner is just magicalness. So definitely very, very happy with this purchase, and I'm excited to use it more. I don't know, would you guys be interested in kind of like a reorganization type of video and like just going through all of the Lethal ones and kind of just having a little bit of playtime with them and mixing them up? I don't know. I don't know if that sounds interesting or not, but I'm really happy that I have tried Lethal Cosmetics this year, and I think they have amazing quality. So that's pretty much everything for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.